We will begin with prayers. Om Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinadidamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tadpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yat Kinchit Chacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapityata Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Bandhus Cha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Mrutavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashajayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudram Maruta Stuvanti Devaihi Stavaihi Vedaihi Sangapada Kramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Naviduhu Sura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhya Mokshayishyami Ma Sucha. We will move into our 30 seconds dhyana. I have one more small element to add in our efforts to get into dhyana. As you know, as practitioner of dhyana, even if it's a slight dhyana, even if it's a little bit of thoughtlessness in the mind, you will see that the breathing would be controlled more and more. As it prolongs, for the fortunate ones, it's hard. But when it prolongs, the breathing would be slower and slower. The heartbeats would be slower. And one of the marvelous things which we want to use in our dhyana is both this breathing rate and intensity of dhyan. They go hand in hand. Means if you do dhyan, the breathing would go down. If the breathing would go down, you would do dhyan. Amazing thing. So today we will try a little bit of breathing thing. We will breathe to the fullest of our lungs, hold it there, and you will see the mind has stopped thinking. Slowly release the breath, hold a little bit there, a little bit. Again, fill the lungs with as much air as you can. Hold there, release, hold there, and breathe again. So, by doing so, you will be able to cool down the mind and you will see it will become thoughtless. Last time I said, do not encourage, means do not feed from the Chetana. So these are the two things we are going to try simultaneously. So let's go. Om. Om. Sunil bhai?
Yeah, Abrid bhai, can you hear me?
Yeah, I am hearing the scratchy sound, but there is no mute all button coming on. So uh, how can I stop that sound? It is somebody scratching something.
Is it still there?
Yeah, no, it stopped now. Yeah, yeah, it stopped now.
Okay. Before you continue, I just want to apologize to the class. Somebody from Durga Temple currently went in and changed the settings on this meeting ID,
Oh,
and that's why I had to jump in and let everybody in. But that should not happen again, and I'm going to let the person know not to change any settings anymore.
yeah,
So it happened to me also, but then I had to sign in as an administrator and then release everybody. So if there is anybody who has joined in and cannot get in yet, please let me know. I can change the settings in the middle of the meeting, but
yes,
I'll do it after the meeting.
yeah, okay, yeah, but
Thank you.
the sound will go away now. Yeah, look
Yeah,
like,
yeah. As soon as I mute myself.
yes, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we will begin from where we left last time. We were at stanza 54, and that was about uh, Arjun amazingly posed the question, who is Sthita Prajna, who is Samadhisthasya, who is Samadhistha, who is Sthita Dihi, etc. One little thing we have to, at this point, observe that in stanza 9, he refused to fight and also he stopped speaking. And at that point, stanza 10, Sri Krishna comes and smilingly he starts. First block, he just bring out the Kshatriya Dharma, not anything about the Sankhya thing. And those stanzas themselves, they were about enough to pull out Arjun from his mental depression. And as we observed last time, the momentum increases. In stanza 39, he declares that now he is going to talk about Sankhya Yoga. And then he just gives the basics like what is Sankhya? Sankhya is the real and unreal composition of us, everybody. There is the real, there is the supreme, the soul. And then the other components, the mind, body, senses, etc. He gave the technique to use the unreal part to move to the real part. And then after doing that, he also fine-tune and say, how would you increase this ability? So that was up to the third gear, the three portions with the separate, different level of understanding. Now we are with this stanza number 54. We see that all the depression not only gone away from the mind of Arjun, but he is asking a very potent question. He's asking a very potent question. And from now, this stanza, there are 18 stanzas. Excluding the last one, there are 17 stanzas. And Sri Krishna is answering in separate stanzas. Who is Sthita Prajna? And the meaning of Sthita Prajna, these three words here, Sthita Prajna, Samadhistha, and Sthita Dihi, they are equivalent synonyms. They mean self in the self. The individual personal self, when it merges with the supreme self. Like if you pour a glass of salt water in ocean, and right after you ask, I need that same glass of water which I poured in ocean. Impossible. It's only one ocean. So the problem is here. Somebody would ask, hey, you were in Samadhi. You see that? Or somebody is talking there. So if somebody asks the person who has gone into Samadhi, hey, tell me, what did you see there? This happened to Buddha many times. He had a style. He would not speak anything. And then somebody would again ask, hey, you didn't give us the answer. And he would say, no, 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 I did give the answer. You didn't hear that. And the answer is, whatever you see all around as the Supreme, the One, non-dual Brahman, and whatever you experience, even without Samadhi, that is what the answer is. There are three examples. Let's see the illustrations. Ramakrishna Paramhans, he was so spontaneous. He may be just talking in the group and somebody enter the room, just say, hey, Sri Ramji ki. And he would right away knock out in Samadhi. To really see his experiences, one may look into the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. That was translated from Bengali to English by Nikhilanand, the second monk after Swami Vivekananda. Marvelous thing. Second is Maharshi Arvind. In Alipur jail, when the British put him there, he went in Samadhi. Every day he used to be in Samadhi in the horse and buggy thing when he used to teach at the Sayajirao University. And the third one, there are many though, but I just want to give this illustration because the 17 stanzas which are coming, in each stanza you want to verify these three personalities, whether those attributes were in them. That is the reason I'm giving you these examples. Third example is Vyasji himself. He was constantly in Samadhi, thoughtlessness. Jamuna river was flooding and the gopis could not cross. And meanwhile, Vyasji appeared there. He said, "Hey gopis, I'm very hungry if you can feed me something." And what else they had? Just the butter in the pots. So they pull out all that and gave it to Vyasji. He ate to his heart content. His hunger was gone. But then gopis got a little selfish. They say, "Hey Vyasji, you are so capable and spiritual person. Why don't you just ask this Jamuna river to give us the way so we can cross it?" And here is something to understand. Vyasji started talking with Jamuna. "Hey Jamuna ji, if I have not eaten my whole life, not just today, not just this what gopis gave him, but now he is adding the phrase, for the whole life, please give us the way." And Jamunaji, both sides the water recedes and they cross the river. So you may think like, how in the world he says the whole life I didn't eat? Who ate then? Here is a beautiful stanza which will come later on. Sometime I bring the forthcoming stanza just to hit the nail, because we want to understand this Vyasji, what he's saying. Brahmarpana Brahma. I'm giving Brahma to Brahman. Havir Brahma Agnau Brahmana Hutam. And the Brahma Yogi is giving that Brahman to Brahman. See the beauty, everything is Brahman. So Brahma Yogi sees everything is Brahman. Food, to whom he give. And so Vyasji was right. He never ate anything. It was the Brahman. The food was Brahman. His stomach was Brahman. He was Brahman. Live example. So now we are prepared to go through those 17 stanzas and we'll one by one verify mentally. I'm not going to verify. So we will go one by one and see all these three examples satisfy. One more thing I have to add here. There are 17 stanzas And just like in the 54 stanza, there were three synonyms, sthita prajna, samadhisthasya, sthita dihi. They were synonym, they mean the same thing, brahmagnani. And then there were four questions, kim asit, kim vrajet. They are also synonyms. The simple question is, what are the characteristics of brahmagnani? That was the simple thing. So let's go to 55. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. There is no sandhi here. Second line has sandhi. Atmani eva atmana. Only by the help of the self in self. How would you put self in self? Only by itself. That is what it says. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. The person is satisfied within the self by his own self. Sthita prajnaha tada uchyati. It's in passive voice, not active voice, passive voice. When we use the passive voice, we don't know the subject, we don't know karta. That is why it is written in a passive voice. So what it says is, one who cast off, one who remove all the desires from the mind, he is sthita prajna, and he stays within the supreme by his own self, and there he is satisfied. So the translation, when put together, would go something like this. When a man abandons, O Parth, all the desires of the heart and is satisfied in the self by the self, not by any other means, but by self by the self, then is he said to be one stable in the wisdom. Stable in the wisdom, that is the translation of sthita prajna. So this is the first stanza, and I have to tell you something here. Those who read the Gita often, every day, every year, every month, and slowly there is the blessings come from the Supreme. The more and more the person would read, more and more the person would study, not academically. There is no academics here. There is all spirituality. So the person is not only trying to understand, but whatever he or she will understand, want to implement that. And then there is a question, oh, I'm going to implement all these 17 things, different things. There are some other things will be coming. How many things I'm going to implement? Oh, really? Is it possible? This would happen on a first few readings. As you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and you will, because it has such a high level of honey in there, the supreme honey, that will catch you. You will realize, and I'm telling this ahead of time without reading those 17 stanzas, we can stop right here. We don't have to go to those 17 stanzas. Why? What is the reason here? The reason is, if you implement just one stanza out of this, you will see that you cannot implement that stanza without implementing all, and you have not read them. They are highly correlated. Their correlation is one. They are highly correlated. I'm going to go a little further. Read all the 700 stanzas many times. And then you say, I'm going to implement all these 700 stanzas. Is it possible? If they are distinct, if they are highly uncorrelated, we don't do even one thing right in our life. 700? Now somebody may think, well, I'm going to pick one stanza from each of the 18 chapters and would implement 18. 18 is too much too. Too much. Then what to do? Give up? There is no need to give up. One of the scientific proof here, Sri Krishna was not like he would do this kind of thing. You pick up only one stanza from the Gita, one of your choice. Just implement that. One phrase out of one stanza. Karmani eva adhikaraste. One phrase. If you implement that, it would not let you go without implementing all the other 699 stanzas. Try that. Just try that. Just try. Then you may ask me right away, you are going to ask me, then why in the world we have so many stanzas here? Because our mind is varied. Up to when you become samadhistha, up to that point, the mind has zillion factors. But when you are approaching there, it will be more and more and more unified. Okay, So with that perseverance, with that guarantee, we move on and see what the second one says. Dukkeshu. It's a seventh vibhakti bahuvachan. Dukkeshu an udvigna manaha. An means not. Udvigna means agitated, disturbed. Manaha, with the minds. In the minds, there is no disturbance because of adverse situation. Dukh means adverse, what we don't like. Sukheshu vigata spruha. And in the comfortable situation, there is no fondness. Fond means if something good happens and you become fond of that. You buy $1 million mansion and then become fond of it. Like you brag several people, oh, come see my house. Fond. So no fondness, no disturbance in the mind in the adverse situation. Itaraga bhaya krodha. Vitaraga, free. Free from attachment, fear, and anger. Why in the world he put fear here? The simple reason is spiritual path is not for weaklings, not at all. Look at Jesus hanging on the cross. Night before he declared, my Father and I are one. Look at that. That's why there is a word here, vitaraga bhaya. No fear. That person is fearless. Mahavir Swami was sitting and there was the cobra sitting in front of with the coil. Mahavir Swami didn't move. So there are examples, there are things we can learn from these people. But then there are people also, they ask very hurriedly, oh, if God is there, how come I don't see him? It's a very usual question. They don't know that you are asking the question by his grace, by his, because by his existence you are doing everything. How can you see him? How can an image see, you see your image, but the image cannot see you? Now, his qualities, dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, sukheshu vigata spruha, pitaraga bhaya krodha. Then he is called sthitadihi munihi uchyate. Here he is using the word sthitadihi from that stanza number 54. So he is giving now examples. Who is Sthita Prajna? Who is Sthita Dihi? Etc. Yaha sarvatra anabhisneha tad prapya Prapya is called Garund in the Sanskrit grammar. It will, whoever is going to learn this kind of things will happen. There are a lot of these Garund in the Gita. Prapya, Gatva, Hitva, etc. etc. Yaha sarvatra anabhisneha tat tat prapya subha subham. He is unattached everywhere. There is a difference between detached and unattached. He is saying unattached. The difference between unattached and detached. He's using these kind of things a lot of different places. Stanza number 1 of the 6th chapter. I'm jumping again. You don't have to jump. This is only for illustration. Anasritaha karma phalam. He's again using an. He's not using nirasritaha. He's using anasritaha. So try to understand, please, this kind of language. Just don't read literally, academically. There is a hidden meaning. What is the meaning here? Anabhisneha, unattached and not detached. Unattached means even though he will be involved in the things, he will not into that. But when you use the word detached, he is not into that also. So see the difference here. Then you will really enjoy this. Yaha sarvatra anabhisneha tat tat prapya subha subham. Subh and ashubh. Subh, good and bad. Both kind of things, come in life to a human being, but the person is unattached. Na abhinandati. Abhi and Nanda. See, this is something to understand. I'm not going to bring the grammar here. The abhi is a prefix. And if you put the same abhi with another crude verb, and when the combined will bring the meaning, the combined would have the meaningful meaning, but the separate components, if you try to tear apart, I would not do that. For example, here abhinandati, nanda means rejoice, and abhi means over rejoice. But let's take this same abhi to gacchati, abhigacchati. There the difference is, it does not say he is going kind of thing. So please be careful about this. But I think the reason I'm tearing apart is if you really catch the heart of these Sanskrit phrases, you will really thrill, you will really enjoy. And one other thing, it is spoken by Sri Krishna and compiled by Vyas. There is no reason why there are chand also and all kind of beauties are there, So this stanza again, he who is unattached everywhere. who is not delighted at receiving good nor dejected at coming by evil, is poised in the wisdom. See, one of the things is when you take this stanza, you have to take the appropriate piece, like adjective, put it with the subject, adverbs, put it with the verb, and you have to do this and then picture the whole stanza. But I would not recommend doing that, except somebody want to learn only Sanskrit language out of this. But if somebody is moving in the spirituality, please read the stanza as is. You will really understand also, and you will really gain a lot of thrilling experience in the head. Okay, so this is another one. And now 58. This is a marvelous thing. He's giving us the warning now. He, in between, when he's giving some definitions and things like that, he has a variety of styles. So he's giving some method, like how would you do that? So the things are, for the person who is Brahmagnani, Sthita Prajna, these are already there. They don't have to do anything. But if you want to go the opposite way, you say, well, I'm not Brahmagnani, but I may try this 17 stanza, or maybe one of it, and see if I can become Brahmagnani. So they go both ways. Like if you are Brahmagnani, these 17 stanzas are the characteristics. But if you somehow command these characteristics, yes, you will approach and become Brahmagnani. That is also the meaning here. So that is why he's giving a little hint here. Yada samharate cha ayam. See, this is not our morning tea like a chayam, it's read like that, but it is cha ayam. Kurmaha angani iva. Kurmaha means tortoise. Angani means all the limbs. Sarvasaha means without leaving any. As the tortoise would pull in all of his limbs. So he's comparing with tortoise, but then what is he asking us to do? Indriyani, indriyarthe vyaha. Indriyani is a dirgha E. So there is the sandhi of two indriya, indriyani, indriyarthe vyaha. Indriyartha means object of the indriya, object of the senses. Like if we are smelling rose flower is the object. It is called indriyartha. For indriya, whatever is for indriya is called indriyartha. One who is controlling his senses from the sense objects, just like the way tortoise pull in all of his limbs. You have to do that. and then prajna pratisthita. If whoever does this kind of thing, means there are a lot of sensual objects, and just like Surdas removed his eyes, that is not the route Gita is preaching. Hey, there are a lot of sense objects. Just remove these senses from them. You don't have to do anything with the sense objects. So this is an additional characteristic of the Sthita Prajna. I will read one more stanza and then I will not go over that, but just for the continuity. I will read that and we will remember, we'll catch up next time and we will go on question and answers. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha. When we do fasting or when we are abstinent, that means when we do tapascharya, what the first line says is the Vishaya vinivartante. The sense objects will turn away. But there is a word coming in the second line, rasa varjyam. The sense objects will turn away, but not the interest in the sense objects. That is the meaning of rasa varjyam. Means the interest would still hanker. The interest would still remain. But then how that will go away also? That he says, rasaha api asya. And even if the interest, rasaha api asya param drashtva nivartate. By realizing the self, that will also go away. In the last days, Ramakrishna Paramhans stopped coming to the kitchen. He was very fond of eating dal bhat and sopari. When he turned away from kitchen, means his ras, the attachment for food, was gone. And Holy Mother at that time realized he is living in few days because there is nothing there for him left in this world. Marvelous things. Okay, so I will stop here and we can move on your questions. We have about 6 minutes. We are kind of becoming better and better in controlling the time. So if you have any ambiguity, if you have any question, please feel free to ask that. And then we will do our end prayers. And the Sanskrit people stay a couple minutes and we will finish then. So please question. Come on. You're not going to make me idle here. I have to do my job. That's okay. I have one more interesting thing for you.
Anil bhai, sorry.
Yeah,
It's not a question, but I just wanted to comment on one of the things that you said about picking a particular sloka and making it your own sloka to practice. I really like that line that you said. Just wanted you to say it. Um, that's it. I'm going to go back on mute.
well, Sunil bhai, you are ahead in the game, so you will have a different perspective. I admire you, to making this kind of note. Please feel free to detect anything, good or bad, that you observe. I would really admire you for that, doing that thing. So thank you, Sunil bhai.
Ahmed Bhai,
Yeah,
this is Chandrakant Bhatia. I have a question which I think is sort of self evident to most. We are surrounded by sense objects no matter
yes,
where we go that
yeah,
excite all the indriyas, five that we have.
right.
How does one withdraw and what is the technique of withdrawing from them?
Technique is a simple thing here, very simple thing. See, this question is not pertaining to only this stanza. A lot of the stanzas would have similar question. And how to be master of that, how to command is, is a very simple way. Many stanzas ago, the Sankhya, and that was introduced in stanza number 39. He says, now I'm going to talk to you about the Buddhi Yoga of Sankhya. He is bringing Buddhi. With Buddhi, we will understand that yesterday someone bought the Tesla car and was so excited, called the neighbors and say, hey, come here and see how beautiful, what are the features, sense object. Food, we go to restaurant and sometimes we hung up to one restaurant, we never stop. He's smoker or alcoholic. I don't hate them. But once they are hung up, they never go back. Smoker would jump midnight, go put the coat, and even though snow is falling, will smoke. How does this thing happen? The only thing is Buddhi. These persons have lost their command over Buddhi. Just like the dhyan, we have hard time doing dhyan because our mind, the emperor, who is the master, has gone. He is the master of Indriya. So he has started thinking a little bit higher. But there is the sense, the spirit, soul. He is the emperor. He forgot that. So he is out of control. So what do we do? Where is the buddhi? In Sankhya Yoga, there are a lot of stanzas we went through. When the buddhi will pranashyati, he will be downhill. Okay. So when we encounter these sense objects, we have to realize the buddhi. Let's apply buddhi. Is this thing real or unreal? Ask only one question. And if it is unreal, it is going to go away one day. On the other hand, there is the Supreme Self. He is not going to go away. Saswat, forever. So when the buddhi actually is sharpened to the level that continuously, in any state of wherever you are, sleeping or walking or in the office or with relatives, and if something pull you towards something else, just right away you should have the habit. Is this real or unreal? And if the answer is unreal, ask the buddhi again, then do you still want to go? Because then you will be pranasyasi. Papachi taro, your end would not be too good. So, actually speaking, Mr. Bhatia, I have to tell you that this is not a one-day kind of practice. It is a continuous, all the time. The spirituality should be made 100% business. The rest all is unreal. The spirituality, die for it or do anything that you have to do. And I'm not bragging here. I do not want to brag. Why? For about more than 60 years, there were a lot of gradual efforts. And so when I want to say something like you, Bhatyaji, I may speak with very ease and very comfortable situation. I have no stress in my head. And the reason is about 60 or more years behind me. Day and night. I have not gone to any sannyasa ashram. I have not taken any training from sannyasa ashram. My house itself is sannyasa ashram. Everything is here. So, Bhatyaji, one thing I have to tell you that bring buddhi and ask the question, is this real or unreal? And let the buddhi decide whichever way you want to go. You will be fine. In a little while there will be struggle, but you will be master of that. You will not be pulled into that. Thanks for asking that question. I really enjoyed it. It's a really marvelous question.
Thank you, Amrut Bhai. I just want to thank you. I like your inspiring style of teaching.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that you spent a lot of lifetime
Yes.
grasping the Bhagavad Gita rather than just learning it.
Yeah.
And that's
Hey,
what.
let me ask one question to Amrut Bhai.
Yeah. Let Mr. Bhatia finish. He's still
Yeah, I
talking.
was just wanted to compliment you. So let Girish Bhai go through. That's fine.
All right.
Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna to all the listeners and participants. This is a great event going on in the Gita group, and we are very flourished with this knowledge and wisdom. So I was thinking that Buddhi, Gnan, and Samjan are the same in the spiritual journey.
Yes.
And the second question.
They are highly correlated. They are synonyms. So they definitely go hand in hand. If you increase one, the other would also increase. So yes, put your effort in the positivity, and one thing will bring every other thing.
So the second question is, why usually they go and grow with the age and time, but not with the self efforts?
That is not actually true. For example, Shukdev ji was only a child, and still Vyas ji was sitting in his Bhagavad Katha. Vyas ji was older. With his age, according to your logic, according to his age, he should be more knowledgeable than Shukdev ji. Instead, he assigned the Bhagavad to be narrated by Shukdev ji. We have to draw some meaningful examples from the Indian culture, the marvelous culture. There is no other culture. I'm not derogating, but what I have seen in the Vedas, the Upanishads, and all this direction that the ancient India has given us is unparalleled. Otherwise, why in the world the Germans, they studied all the Vedas. They wrote the books in Sanskrit. Like the big name is Winter Needs. Winter Needs wrote 3 volumes of history of Indian literature. You have to read those 3 volumes, and you will see how much height India had. I'm not bragging because I'm Indian, but I studied all of the Sanskrit and all of the Upanishads and all of these things mainly in America. Unbelievable, but that is true. So, okay, any other question, please?
Amrut Bhai, one more
you.
question relating to what you just said.
Yeah,
I always felt that, I mean, not that because I'm an Indian, but whatever little bit I know of our culture and our scriptures, I
yes.
find that to be such a wonderful treasure that we have. How does one pass this treasure on to our next generations, which is a little bit harder than somebody who already has Shraddha in this?
I tell you one thing, want to give my own example. And in that example, you will have answer also. My son is a doctor, and he many times come late, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. But the first thing he would do would read a chapter from the Gita. The second thing he would do would be Japamala. and then only he would eat, and then only he would go to sleep. How these things happen? One thing as parents, I came to know that since they are in the cradle, they observe you so much that you don't know. So I think my answer is you set the example.
Thank you, Amrit Bhai. I know the time is running short, but maybe later on we'll discuss some other issues on this. Thank you so much.
Sure,
Enjoyed it.
but did I give you any clue to your question?
Absolutely, you did. Very much so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I think I will stop here and we will go to our closing prayers. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamrutam Gamaya Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Namaste.
Sunilji, are you still there?
Thank you, Ambaji.
Yeah, this record button is stopped working. It is not ending. So I don't know what to do about that. It says, please ask the host to give you permission to